at her mother. And her mother has looked after her children enormously for a very long time. So she would do anything that they wanted. But she's now sort of shut her case and gone because she's screamed, "Don't leave me, don't leave me." And Harry, who actually has leaned on his mother-in-law to be helpful emotionally to him. But
that Doria Ragland has said enough is enough. I'm moving out of Montecito for good. And it's pretty brutal, actually, because Radar Online...
Friends can drift away, staff can hand in their notice, but when your own mother walks out of the picture, darling, that isn't bad luck. That's the ugly truth finally catching up.
He had got through 3 nannies in just 6 weeks. And that's because working for this couple is incredibly difficult. We'll have the latest with our Royal Mastermind Prince Harry's biographer Angela Levin in just one moment. But first, look at this revelation.
For years, Doria Ragland, Meghan Markle's mother, was the quiet powerhouse behind the Sussexes. Forget the Hollywood red carpets, the glossy Netflix deals, or Harry's endless memoir chatter. Behind the headlines, it was Doria holding the entire house of cards together. She wasn't just a sweet grandmother dropping in with cookies and hugs. Oh no, she was deep in the trenches. Midnight feeds, diaper disasters, toddler meltdowns, you name it. Doria was there, steady hands holding everything when Meghan and Harry couldn't.
And she was getting sick of her daughter's constant moaning and dramas. Meghan is deeply upset about her mother leaving. She even pleaded, "Don't leave me," as she walked out the door with her suitcases.
And why? Because of love. Because this was her daughter, her blood, her family. She gave up her own quiet rhythm to step into the chaos of Montecito's most high-maintenance household. And let's be real, when nannies started bailing left, right, and center, and we know Meghan and Harry went through nannies faster than most of us go through houseplants, who was left to pick up the pieces? Doria. She was the glue. She was the fallback. She was the one thing keeping Meghan's carefully curated family image from collapsing.
I don't want to do it anymore. So I think this is the panic, because if you're out and about, you need a nanny there, but they're not so young now, so you can play with them and they can understand things. And
most people imagine grandmothers as the occasional babysitter, the surprise cookie deliveries, the weekend help. But for Doria, that role was flipped upside down. She wasn't popping by for visits, she moved in. She became the unpaid, full-time caretaker, sacrificing her independence for Archie and Lilibet's stability.
Absence. Our source added, Doria is happy with how the family is doing now. She's ready.
Think about it. While Meghan and Harry played jet-set power couple, posing at galas, signing million-dollar contracts, complaining about royal rules on international TV, who was at home, sleeves rolled up, doing the real work? Doria. She traded her own peace of mind for a role that looked less like grandma and more like live-in staff.
Family. She plans to visit often, but won't be living with them full-time again. Our insider said the pair are totally lost, and Meghan must be thinking something is deeply wrong.
And let's not pretend it was easy. Archie and Lilibet weren't growing up in some cozy suburban home where life was predictable. Their world was a pressure cooker. Fame, scandals, PR nightmares, royal feuds. Every tantrum, every bedtime meltdown unfolded under a cloud of stress and cameras. And in that storm, Doria was the rock.
Scream all the time because and you don't know whether they want to go to sleep or whether they want to eat or any of those things.
She gave up everything, her career, her social life, her freedom. Once a yoga instructor, once a social worker, she had her own rhythm, her own identity, but she put it all on hold for years. And the recognition? Hardly. Meghan would smile on camera about her support system, but how often did she acknowledge the grind her mother endured every single day?
Her own mom can't stand to live with her in a huge mansion. But the key point is...
Worse still, insiders say Doria often felt she couldn't even say no. If Meghan snapped her fingers, she had to appear. No matter her own mood, no matter the strain, no matter how unbearable the atmosphere became, Doria kept showing up, out of loyalty, out of love, out of sacrifice.
They are incredibly important, but a lot of women get quite...
But here's the cruel twist. That kind of sacrifice always has a breaking point. You can't keep giving while someone else keeps taking. Without gratitude, without pause, and after years of holding the Sussex family on her back, Doria finally whispered, enough.
The drama, so she had to flee. And can you blame her? Can you really blame her? because Doria Ragland has stayed.
Because let's be clear, nobody walks away from their grandchildren unless there's a deeper fracture. And in Doria's case, that fracture had a name, Meghan Markle. For years, Doria was the patient listener, the problem solver, the ever-available set of hands. But her patience? It wore thin. Why? Because Meghan, according to insiders, just couldn't stop moaning.
She even was used as propaganda in the Netflix documentary series. But since then, like the rest of the world...
And we're not talking about a daughter occasionally venting to her mom. This was constant. The house wasn't perfect. The staff wasn't good enough. Harry wasn't pulling his weight. The media was cruel. The contracts too stressful. On and on it went, every single day. Imagine being stuck not only raising 2 children, but also babysitting your own daughter's emotions. Exhausting doesn't even begin to describe it.
You have to make sure that actually you're there and doing things. And I think with Meghan, she doesn't want to be tied down. And I don't think she wants someone who...
At first, Doria tried to rationalize it. She told herself Meghan had been through a lot, that the stress explained it. But soon, she realized the truth. Meghan wasn't just stressed, she was never satisfied. Even with assistants, nannies, staff, all lined up at her beck and call, Meghan always found something to criticize.
To use as people, she's seen how her daughter treats people.
And that's when the cracks showed. Doria wasn't just offering comfort, she was actively plugging the gaps when staff bolted. She became the consistency Archie and Lilibet desperately needed when Meghan and Harry couldn't keep childcare stable. And while Doria sacrificed, Meghan kept complaining. Imagine giving up your entire life to help, and instead of gratitude, you're met with nitpicking. Insiders say the breaking point came when Meghan's nitpicking turned on Doria's parenting. It wasn't enough that she was there day and night. Meghan reportedly started criticizing how she did things with the children too. That was it. That was the dam bursting. Years of sacrifice crumbling into one painful realization she'd been taken for granted too many times. So what did Doria do? The unthinkable. The thing no nanny, no assistant, no advisor ever dared. She walked away. No PR spin, no stage smiles. Just a quiet, final, I'm done. And that silence spoke louder than any sit-down interview Meghan could ever give. And let's rewind for a moment because this wasn't the first childcare disaster in Montecito. Remember the infamous 3 nannies in 6-week scandal? Yes, you heard that right. 3 trained professional nannies gone in less than 2 months. That isn't coincidence. That's a household pattern. Back in June 2019, reports exploded that Meghan and Harry had already burned through 3 nannies in record time. And the excuses? Oh, there were plenty. One wasn't the right fit, another couldn't manage the hours, another just didn't meet Meghan's vision of childcare. But let's be honest, when 3 professionals bolt that quickly, the problem isn't the staff, it's the household. And guess who had to step into that chaos? Doria. When the revolving door of professionals kept spinning, it was Grandma who became the unofficial 4th nanny. Without pay, without breaks, without the luxury of resignation. She couldn't quit, at least not back then. But think about it. If trained, paid nannies with years of experience couldn't last more than a few weeks, how draining must it have been for Doria? At least those nannies had an escape hatch. Doria didn't. Bound by love, loyalty, and duty, she stayed, absorbing not only the childcare but also Meghan's moods, Meghan's complaints, Meghan's endless contradictions. And let's not forget the whispers inside the nanny industry. Agencies reportedly started warning candidates in hushed tones. Do you really know who you're signing up to work for? That's not standard HR procedure. That's survival mode. Candidates had to walk in pretending they didn't know Meghan and Harry were the clients because the agency was ordered to keep their names secret until the last moment. And then, surprise! The big reveal. An audition, not an interview, because that's what it was. A nanny audition. Step 1, agency interview. Step 2, vetting by Meghan's assistant. Step 3, the final test in front of Meghan and Harry themselves. A gauntlet designed not to find the best care for Archie and Lilibet, but to find someone who could survive Meghan. And most didn't, which is why, year after year, the one who carried on was Doria. She didn't have to audition, she was family. But even family has limits. Fast forward to today, and once again nanny drama is swirling around Montecito. Only this time, it's not about a quick exit. This time, it's about the one nanny who actually stuck it out for 5 years, a record by Sussex standards. But even she's had enough. Whispers say this loyal soldier has been angling for a promotion for years, hoping to step up into a house manager role, away from tantrums and bottles and into spreadsheets and staff schedules. And frankly, who can blame her? 5 years in that madhouse deserves hazard pay, let alone a corner office. But here's the catch. Meghan and Harry reportedly churn through childcare staff so quickly that every time this nanny is about to transition into her new role, she's dragged right back into the nursery. Another nanny quits, another meltdown, and she's forced to start all over again. It's career limbo, and while Meghan gushes in interviews about how much she adores this nanny, the reality, sources say, is messy. Meghan still micromanages, still nitpicks, still can't relinquish control. It's the Meghan paradox. She doesn't want to do the childcare herself, but she doesn't really want anyone else to do it either. Even this longtime nanny, the one Meghan supposedly cherishes, is rumored to be fed up, tired of waiting for promotion, tired of being stretched thin, tired of being caught in Meghan's impossible cycle. And when even the most loyal helpers start slipping away, you know the foundation is cracking. Which brings us back to Doria, because unlike the staff, she wasn't just a background figure. She was the central figure. Let's be brutally honest here. Who actually raised Archie and Lilibet? Was it Meghan, busy with Hollywood projects, Netflix scripts, and photo ops? Was it Harry, distracted with polo matches and ghostwriters? Or was it the revolving cast of nannies who barely lasted a season? The truth, there was only one answer. Doria Ragland. She was the parent figure. She made sure meals were cooked, routines were kept, bedtime happened. She wasn't helping out, she was the backbone. And yet, whispers say Meghan grew increasingly unsettled by one thing: the children's attachment to Doria. They ran to her for comfort. They clung to her consistency. And Meghan? She reportedly started to feel rattled, jealous even. Think about it. What mother wants to feel overshadowed in her own children's eyes? Meghan allegedly began worrying out loud that Archie and Lilibet seemed too attached to Grandma. She loved the help, yes, but the thought of her children preferring someone else, even her own mother, that cut deep. Meanwhile, Harry, the man who once vowed to be a modern father, breaking the cycle of cold Windsor parenting, slid into the very pattern he swore he'd escape. He checked out. Instead of stepping up, he leaned on Doria too. Need someone to calm Meghan after another PR crisis? Call Doria. Need someone to keep the kids grounded while the parents jet off? Again, Doria. At some point, people began whispering, was Harry truly a partner or just another dependent clinging to his mother-in-law? Every storm has its breaking point. And for Doria, it wasn't one explosive fight. It was death by 1,000 cuts, little slights, endless demands, gratitude fading into expectation, until finally she saw it clearly. She wasn't being treated like a respected mother helping from love. She was being treated like an unpaid live-in crutch. So she did the only thing left. She walked away, quietly, with dignity. No press release, no staged photos, no excuses, just silence. And in that silence lies the sharpest truth. Sometimes walking away isn't about betrayal. It's the only way to save yourself. When word leaked that Doria had left Montecito, the tabloids went feral. Headlines screamed, betrayal, family fracture. Even Meghan's mom can't take it. Others softened it into self-care, painting Doria as a woman reclaiming her independence. But underneath all the spin was the simplest explanation. She was tired, she had given more than anyone else ever would, and she wanted her life back. Meghan hated it, not just losing her mother's help, but losing control of the optics. Perception is power, and Doria walking out shattered the image Meghan had built. Insiders say she scrambled to spin the story, but you can't PR polish a mother's silence. It was louder than Oprah's interview. Harry? He panicked. He's always leaned on strong women, first Diana, then Meghan, then quietly Doria. She grounded him, steadied him. Without her, cracks in their empire, book deals, streaming contracts, speaking gigs, suddenly looked dangerous. Speculation exploded. Did Meghan push her away? Did Doria finally have enough? Paparazzi chased, tabloids feasted, Meghan scrambled. And here's the sting. Meghan thrives on visibility, but without her mother softening her image, every move now looks harsher. Whispers swirl about a rebrand. Another interview, another chance to play survivor. But the truth is brutal. Even blood runs dry when the taking never stops. And with one quiet exit, Doria exposed the cracks Meghan never wanted the world to see. Never wanted the world to see.